Yes, this video is late, but what's new around here? Welcome back, and before we get into the Week 14 picks, I just want to take a second and recap the Thursday night game where the Patriots traveled to LA to take on the Rams in a 24-3 blowout. There's not much to talk about in this game. That Patriots offense still looks terrible, and I don't want to blame it all on Cam Newton because he hasn't been looking great himself, but they don't really have any talent on the offensive side of the ball. As far as the defense goes, they did what they could. Honestly, it's like, when the offense can't get anything going and you're constantly on the field, you kind of expect that. You're not going to keep getting stops over and over. And on top of that, the Rams rookie wide receiver, rookie running back, Cam Akers ran all over them. Dude had like 171 yards. So, yeah, man, the Rams just went out there and they took care of business. They're sitting at the top of the division right now. And like I said, that defense that they have is great. So already with a Patriots offense that's been struggling, kind of expected it to be that way. But that's all I got for that. The Patriots move on to be 5-7, 5-8. Let me double check. 6-7. And the Rams move on to 9-4. So that's all I got on that. So let's go ahead and get into the picks. Starting off with the Houston Texans traveling to Chicago to take on the Bears. I'm taking the Texans in this game because the Bears have just been looking absolutely terrible. Again, the team was at one time in the season 5-1. No quarterback. The offensive line has been beat up. And the Texans actually have been putting together a pretty decent month over the last month. So, I fully expect the Texans to win this game. The Cowboys taking on the Bengals. I'm taking the Cowboys. Andy Dalton going back to take on the Bengals. That's pretty much all I got. No Burrow. The Bengals just doesn't have enough to beat this team. That's pretty much all I got on that one, man. The Chiefs taking on the Dolphins. This game I think is going to be a lot better than people are expecting it to be. The Dolphins defense is very good. Now the only issue I think we'll see with them is how they plan on handling Tyreek Hill. But they have some pretty good corners on their Dolphins defense. But I'm taking the Chiefs because the Chiefs are on a roll. The Steelers finally lost the game. So every game from now on, I can see the Chiefs coming out in straight attack mode, not trying to lose any more to get that one seed. As far as the Dolphins go, like I said, the best thing about them is their defense and special teams. And we know when you're playing against the Chiefs, you have to put up points. Do I see the Dolphins going out there and putting up points to match the Chiefs? Not necessarily. And the only way that could happen is they get some good breaks. And like I said, their defense could slow them down, kind of like Denver did last week. But hey, we'll see. But I'm taking the Chiefs in that one. Up next, I want to talk about the Cardinals at the Giants. Now, both of these teams really need to win this game. Like, everything from here on out for both these teams needs to be a W. I've been high on the Giants all season, and I don't want to change it now because they're starting to look even better as the weeks progress. I'm going with the Giants. The Cardinals have been on a losing streak, and they look absolutely terrible. That defense is not that good. They just have a couple playmakers, and the way that Giants defense plays, I can see them slowing down Kyler Murray. As we've seen last week, Bradbury pretty much kept DK Metcalf in check, and they pretty much kept that Seahawks offense in check for the most part. I'm pretty sure they can do the same thing to Arizona. So I'm going with the Giants in this game. And the next game, the Vikings taking on the Buccaneers. Another game that I think is going to be very good. My issue with this one that I think is going to be pass protection for Kirk Cousins. This game, the Bucs are coming off a bye week. And we just watched this Viking team struggle with the Jaguars last week. Now, the Vikings are still playing for a playoff spot. And they've been, kind of hot lately. But like I said, after a bitter loss before the bye, I see the Bucs coming out, for blood in this one. So I'm taking the Bucs, even though I really want to take the Vikings, just because, my Saints bias. But I think this is going to be a game where the Buccaneers go out and, they have something to prove in this one. So, I'm going with the Bucs in that one. Up next, the Broncos taking on the Panthers. I honestly didn't know who to pick with this one, but kind of just, did a coin toss on this one. I'm taking the Panthers. I do think this game can go either way. I'm expecting Drew Lock to place a little better. He had a decent game last week. And like I said, the jury's still out on him. They don't know if he's going to be their future moving forward. I personally think Drew Lock will be okay. I think his development has been stunted. with the offensive coordinator there. But I don't want to just put it all on him because Drew Lock still has to go out there and make certain throws, and he doesn't do that. But, the Panthers haven't had that issue. They're still a rebuilding team that's just been kind of overachieving this season. And I can see that by the next season, this will be a good team. But let's not talk about next season. We're talking about this week. The Panthers seem to be better coached right now as well. So I'm going to go with the Panthers in this one. Titans and Jaguars. I'm taking the Titans. No need to expand on that. Even though, like I said, the Jags played a good game last week and almost beat the Vikings. The Titans is another one of those teams that has to keep winning. They have, the Colts still on their tails. The Colts could just take that division back, especially if they lose this one. So that's an easy no-brainer for me. Speaking of the Colts taking on the Raiders. I'm going with the Colts in this one, only because I don't understand this Raiders team. I talked about it in the Week 13 recap. This team could go out and look like a dominant team in general, and then go out and get blown out by the Falcons and basically gifted a win versus the Jets. I just can't pick this team over a team like the Colts with a defense as good as it is, even though, Phillip Rivers has been playing with turf toe, I believe, and he might be, a little hobbled. But still in all, I just think this Colts team is a little too physical for the Raiders. So I'm going with the Colts in this game. The Jets taking on the Seahawks. Again, another one, no-brainer. I'm going with the Seahawks there. Nothing really to talk about. I'm pretty sure the Seahawks are pissed off after they lost last week, which is probably the biggest upset of the season so far. Some people are probably going to say Washington over Steelers, but the Steelers were due for a loss, and that had a trap game written all over it. And nobody expected the Giants to perform the way they did against the Seahawks last week. So I'm expecting the Seahawks to come out here and dominate this game like they should. Up next, the Packers traveling to Detroit to take on the Lions. Now, I'm picking the Packers in this game. But again, me being the Saints fan that I am, would really like the Lions to pull this one off. The Saints do have some, our schedule has been somewhat favorable in these last couple recent weeks, but it's not going to get easier. We have Kansas City coming up, and we have to play Minnesota too. So we have to win pretty much all those games and keep the Packers at bay. And you know how the Saints do when we play the Vikings, so who knows what's going to happen in that game. And the Chiefs, look, anybody to play against the Chiefs, you have to expect, you can't just go in there being like, oh, we got this, no matter how much faith you have in your team. So rooting for the Lions in this one. Can't pick them, though. I got to go with the Packers. Aaron Rodgers has been on fire. I think he's probably leading the MVP race right now. Well, I mean Mahomes. But that's just because, he's the more popular guy right now. But Rodgers still in that picture right now. So, yeah, man, I got to go with the Packers. Saints versus Eagles. I actually want to do a video. And I'm not going to even promise that I'm going to get it out. Previewing this game. But we have Jalen Hurts starting for the Eagles this week. They're officially benching Carson Wentz. When it comes to Wentz, this is not completely on him because that team is absolute horrible on both sides of the ball. Even though the defense does play pretty decently at times, still, man, they just give up way too many big plays. And it was time to make a change, try to get a spark somewhere. And I honestly think this coming a bit late. Because Carson Wentz also hasn't been helping his case either. Jalen Hurts got in the game last week when they played the Packers, threw a touchdown pass. He also threw an interception. But then again, context matters. That was pretty much the end of the game, and the game was pretty much over up until, the punt return and kind of made it interesting. But, the Saints taking on the Eagles. Obviously, I'm going with the Saints. I just don't think this is a good game for, to throw in your backup quarterback, to get a spark because that Saints defense has been playing absolute ridiculous. So I don't see that changing this week at all. The Saints are going to be getting after them. That Eagles offensive line is not very good. Going up against that Saints D-line, I can see that being a big problem for Hurts. But look, I'm rooting for the guy. Just can't root for him this week because the Saints, like I said, we got to win everything moving forward. So who that nation? You know who I'm rocking with that one. Falcons and the Chargers. I didn't know who to pick in this game because both of these teams just lose games in some of the most heartbreaking ways imaginable. Now, I'm picking the Falcons in this game because I just can't bring myself to pick the Chargers. And look, I'm a fan of Anthony Lynn. I don't think he's a terrible coach, but he hasn't been helping his case at all. So I'm pretty sure he's coaching for his job at this point, because if this team doesn't look at least somewhat capable of doing anything within the next 4 weeks, I'm almost positive Anthony Lynn is going to get fired at the end of the season. But I can't pick the Chargers, even though I do think they're going to have a bounce back week. No, I have to go with the Falcons in this one. So up next, the Washington football team traveling to take on the San Francisco 49ers, who are technically the Arizona 49ers right now because they have to move out of Santa Clara because all sporting events has been canceled, in whatever city they're in right now, Santa Clara, like I said. So, yeah, this one I didn't know who to pick, again, because both of these teams are pretty much the same. Washington's issue is I think Antonio Gibson is still out with an injury. And on the side of the 49ers, they're still, playing with Nick Mullins, who tends to have a decent game sometime, and sometimes he go out there and plays like absolute garbage. Both these teams have really good defenses. I'm going with the 49ers in this one because of coaching. Kyle Shanahan, I'm one of those people who, looks at him and he's like a damn good coach. The fact that, this team has the amount of injuries that it's had this season, they're still sitting at 5-7, So, yeah. I'm going with the 49ers in this one. Now, on to our primetime games. The Sunday night game is between the Steelers and the Bills, and this is the game I'm probably the most excited to watch this season because the Bills have been absolutely balling on offense. The defense is starting to come back together and start to look somewhat like they did last season. Like I said, they still have some things to clean up with, but if the Steelers offense look anything like it did last week, I can see this being a problem for them, but I'm taking the Bills in this one. The Bills are hot right now. Josh Allen has been balling. He's played his way pretty much back into the MVP conversation. And the Steelers have a lot of issues that, keeping people from really ranking them what their record is, The drop passes were absolutely terrible last week. Not being able to have a running game. And the defense gives up a lot of big plays. And this Bills offense has a lot of big play capabilities, man. So I think this is going to be probably one of the most entertaining games of the week. But I'm going with the Bills, man. I'm still riding that Josh Allen wave. And the final game for the week, the Monday night matchup between the Ravens and the Browns. It's part 2 of their matchup. First time the Ravens absolutely stomped the Browns. And the tables have turned. The Browns now sit at a 9-3 record. And the Ravens are sitting at 7-5. I'm taking the Browns in this one because it's hard to beat a team twice. And the Browns look a lot better than they did in that first matchup against the Ravens. Their defense is playing better. Mayfield has been playing better. And the way that they're running that offensive system just works for the type of, quarterback that they have right now. Now, don't get me wrong, the Ravens defense is nothing to sneeze at. They're still going to have some issues on that side of it. But, this team works through their run game. And I think they're going to slow things down a bit in this game and play good defense because the Ravens offense has been struggling. But, I'm going with the Browns. This is a prove-it game, in my opinion, because even though they're 9-3, some people still don't think they're legit because it is the Browns at the end of the day. And I feel like this will be making a statement right here. So, that's all the picks I have for Week 14. Again, this late, but what's new around here. But make sure you let us know what your picks are down below. Make sure you like if you enjoyed the video, subscribe. And with that, I'm out.